States Marine. I'm mission driven, and once I grabbed the tiger, I was too stupid to let go. So what's supposed to be a very simple problem, we're just going to write a protocol, ended up creating a lot of problems over the last year and a half. But here's what we do know, and here's what we come up with. I can sleep 100% on a very cost-effective protocol. Now this is USB-C protocols. The BESI Institute teaches all protocols, and we have about 7 in this manual for all the protocols that we found, including Judge Fallon, the Consumer Product Safety Commission. In fact, we got 2 or 3 more that we're fixing to put in there. So we recognize all protocols. I have a USB-CI protocol that I wrote. And this is it. This was our first graduating class, which was last year. Also being an architectural firm, I built a house and went in the house and remediated the house. And I could literally, on the computer, walk into this home. So I'm just going to show you very briefly the protocol. And basically it starts, and this we try to get the garage and make this a little bit more complex. But there's certain reasons why we do what we do in this protocol. And basically it has 24 basic steps. It's really not rocket scientist, but if you miss a step, you're going to open yourself up to some liability. And we have these things here. It's in the manual. We'll publish this. That comes out. We want to be able to do a pre-construction meeting because this is basically construction. We want at least some third-party quality controls. Good idea. Could be an option. Maybe they don't want to have a third-party control. This is a little complicated. There's a lot of different dynamics. I strongly suggest it. We've already heard this, chain of custody, absolutely critical if you're going to protect these homeowners' rights from a legal standpoint. Preservation of evidence, chain of custody. When the house, taking out all the personal belongings, I've had people leave, come back in, and cross-contaminate their house. And I speak from a microbial standpoint of cross-contamination. Brian Eisenberg's house stinks like Chinese drywall. The one he moved in, it does not have Chinese drywall. 5 months later, and his clothes still smell like hydrogen sulfide. So I know there's cross-contamination. I know these gases will stay around a month, 6 months, a year. Has a lot of different considerations of what that means, how much board, the toxicity level. There's a lot of dynamics to determine. If it's a level 1, not very long. Level 2, it'll hang around. Level 3, 6 months. Level 4, over a year later, it still stinks. So you got to be careful. Got the house, get everything out. Some of the testing we've done, looking at all the copper corrosion being removed, which is a huge liability, especially after you cover it up. We looked at several processes for thermal deabsorption. This has been around for probably since early 50s. CERTPRO, I met with the vice president. They actually do it all the time. The remediation industry actually does this. It's a very proven methodology. There's no need to prove this, but it's hard on cabinetry when you start heating up. There is some sensitivity things. When the heat goes in, it'll actually diffuse the trailer or personal belongings in about anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. You can go right back in. I've been experimenting with some things called hydroxyls from Orthodox for here. I spent 5 months researching this because they were full of it. There ain't no way this little box can outperform forced thermal deabsorption and kill these gases. I spent 5 months with this. I've now wrote it in our protocol. This is probably some of the best technology I've seen in almost 20 years. Incredible technology. I actually used this in the Chinese drywall home, put it in there 15 minutes. Took somebody who has sulfur chemical reactions within 5 seconds to Chinese drywall. I left Orthodox in there for 15 minutes. He could stay in the mock-up for 20 minutes without a reaction. Without that, it took 5 seconds to cause a reaction. That told me this is some good, unique technology. I went to rendering plants. I went and researched this stuff. I watched Orthodox work under these conditions. It was absolutely incredible. We also have Orthodox, and then we have also the nanoscale product that we actually spray in there, which is a belt and suspenders. You put nanoscale in there, you walk out, you have gases, you ain't got to worry about it because nanoscale will eat hydrogen sulfide for breakfast. 5 years later, it stays in the house, and it's a redundancy process. So you spend $1,000, $1,200 per in the house, and you have next 5 years of protection. Incredible technology. XRF on new boards coming in, you're going to want to do that. If you're going to bring in new drywall, you're going to want to XRF it or make sure that that drywall is a one-source responsibility. I'm not telling you there's domestic problems out there, but there's an attorney here that filed the first lawsuit who just walked in on domestic drywall. So I'm going to refer that to him, and you can maybe talk to him a little bit about it. I think, actually he is sick. He actually not the one. So I'm not going to get into domestic product. There is some concerns out there. So we know protocol. We actually want to go and look at those things. Moving back in the house, putting all back together. I got with Chris Burton and told him we got to have a national warranty. He's now got it enforced. Excellent to help with the stigma, which I love their whole entire program. And again, there's a lot of people that, I'm not saying anything about the government, but I told them when they put me on the task force with Dr. Cross back last year, I said, we're going to do more in 1 year than you guys will do in the next 5 years. You guys are so big and you're so lethargic. You got 8 different departments. You're spending 90% of your time and money on the problem. Reverse that. Spend 90% of your time and money on the solution and 10% of your time on the problem. Well, they never did that. So we actually came out with a protocol that I'm going to tell you works. And this is not the only protocol. There are several good protocols out there that actually you can remediate your home. You can actually, I know there's 2 companies right now, you can get a national construction warranty from $100,000 to $500,000. And the man that offered that and spirited that is sitting in this room. And so get with these people. There is a way to fix Chinese drywall. It is cost effective. You can save furnitures. You can save almost 95 to 100% of personal belongings. You can save kitchens. You can save a lot of things. But there's some things you cannot save, and when it comes to the drywall, you're going to probably end up gutting it unless you find some unique situations where you can do a partial remediation. But be careful. There's a tremendous amount of liability, and there's attorneys on standby to sue people who simply want to go ahead and do this wrong.